Okay, there's something I also wanted to talk about. Do you remember about 3 weeks ago, there were stories that after China had abandoned net zero, there was this outbreak of COVID and the mortuaries were full. They showed long lines of pictures of the morgues and the crematoriums were working all overtime, this whole deja vu. Do you know just how they dropped that story like a hotcake? Absolutely nothing. It just faded away. I think they realize that people are laughing at them now. They tried the monkeypox things, people laughed off that. And what about this ridiculous story that Boris came forward, he had this conversation with Putin, and Putin had apparently threatened to kill him or something like that, drop a bomb on him, something ridiculous. No one was buying it. Apparently 4,000 comments on the particular story in the Daily Mail, and everyone was either rubbishing it as nonsense or saying, well, pity he doesn't. So I think the powers that should not be are taking a step back and thinking, our old tricks aren't working. These guys are wising up. What are we going to do next? So one really does wonder, because people aren't taking this seriously. So the other thing was, let's see what else I had there. Right, financial crisis. Now, apparently Japan, the UK column featured this quite a lot. Japan is in an enormous a lot of trouble financially. And just as my predictions said, not only has Sunak had a really hard time this month because of the strikes and the various scandals, two other things. The Alexander Mercoulis at the Duran said that there are several major scandals that are not yet in the public domain, so he couldn't say more, affecting both Labour and Tory MPs. So I'm just wondering whether that's going to break the surface as another major crisis. The other thing was lots of bad news coming out about the economy in terms of the UK as well. Extremely low growth forecasts, doing one of the worst of the developed countries, the OECD and the G7 countries. And I don't believe America and Canada and whatever are doing as well as they say either. But, you know, really grim news for Sunak, because whatever the truth is, it is in the public domain and it's adding more to his unpopularity. Pressure is mounting on, especially after he had to sack Zwahari after that particular tax-related scandal. So more pressure piling on Sunak. Now, it was Ed Dowd saying the two countries that could trigger the financial collapse are either the UK or Japan. And it does seem that there's an enormous amount of really desperate financial news coming out from Japan. Although at the same time, they're also getting ready to go hammer and tongs at China. So interesting about 77th Brigade. Now, UK column was the first to document that this is a branch of the army who are very active on social media, trolling people, running fake accounts, and basically using social media to spy on citizens. So it's wonderful that that's all coming out now. It's just putting a whole new spin on the way our government behaves